The kids from Floribama sure partied hard, but loved harder. Here's why I think it's a worthy binge, especially in light of Kirk Metta's passing. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching for more details. Back in the heyday of classic MTV reality TV, they were best known for Jersey Shore and The Hills, but I think a little show called Floribama Shore also deserves to be recognized among those greats. Floribama Shore was the little shore show that could, premiering on November 17, 2017 and running for 4 seasons, ending in 2021. The original cast, Amy Hall, Nilsa Prowant, Kirk Metas, Cody Butts, Candace Rice, Jeremiah Buoni, Gus Smernios, and Courtney Gilson, remained largely unchanged, aside from the challenges Maddie Lynn Bro stepping in to replace Courtney after her departure midway through Season 3. The premise was similar to many. A group of friends lived together every summer in a pristine beach house situated on the shores of Panama City Beach, and antics ensue. Floribama Shore was billed as the southern counterpart to Jersey Shore, which turned Jersey-bred Guidos and Gadettes into major reality stars. I was instantly intrigued by Floribama Shore. As a California girl, their southern ways drew me in. The Floribama Shore cast is genuine. The cast was full of dichotomies. Southern ladies and gentlemen who nonetheless partied harder than almost any other reality TV show cast I'd ever seen. They were raised proper, yet weren't afraid to throw down. They ate exotic foods like crawfish and boiled peanuts, referred to strangers as sir and ma'am, prayed before every meal, and yet, almost every single night out at a bar resulted in fights and even arrests. It's an underrated gem, totally worthy of a weekend binge, especially now in light of the news of Kirk's passing from necrotizing pancreatitis at 33 years old. When we first met the cast of Floribama Shore in Season 1, they were all in their early to mid-20s, going through the normal struggles of life. Some came from tougher backgrounds than others, but together, they formed a messy bond in an environment that allowed each cast member to learn more about themselves and understand each other. This cast had heart, but, just like a lot of young people their age, they often didn't know when to stop. There was the noble Jeremiah, the dad of the group, whom they lovingly referred to as Captain America. It was a fitting description, as Jeremiah was a large mass of muscles and sunscreen with a heart of gold underneath it all. Then there was Amy, a sweet-as-pie girl from Alabama who rolled up to the shore house with a fishing rod. Amy looks wholesome, but she won't hesitate to jump into a fight, particularly if one of her friends is in need. Joining the group was Atlanta-bred Kirk, an easygoing, gentle soul who was often just along for the ride. Kirk was rarely one to get in trouble, barring that one time he nearly got arrested for punching a patron at a bar he and his friends were at. He took accountability for his actions, and later said he just couldn't stand to see his friends being disrespected. Spicy Nilsa Prowant was another cast member, a PCB local who wore her heart on her sleeve. As a 23-year-old divorcee, Nilsa just wanted to be loved. Heartfelt Cody Butts was the comic relief of the cast, often throwing off his swim trunks and streaking the house, just to get a laugh. Gus Smernios was the sweet, but misguided romance novel cover model who tortured himself trying to meet the standards he himself set. Outspoken Candace Rice, who was always looking out for everyone. The most troubled cast member was Courtney, but even with all her faults, there was something endearing about her. Courtney, with her brash exterior, came from a traumatic background, and she often got into trouble with boys and alcohol, but I was always rooting for her. Courtney was like a wounded animal, and she just wanted someone to take care of her. She found that in the Floribama Shore house. The entire cast was deeply flawed, with some coming from disturbingly troubled backgrounds, and yet, the running theme is that they're all trying to be better. They were all trying to improve. They were just very young, immature, and were oftentimes battling internal demons they couldn't fully process. This makes the show an entertaining watch, but also a study in what it means to be young, free, and just trying to figure it all out. The Floribama Shore cast partied harder than any other reality show cast. It's no secret that this cast liked to drink. They treated partying like a sport, staying out all night, downing shots like they were candy, and smoking actual cigarettes. Nobody smokes on reality TV these days, but these kids would puff away outside on their porch, brutally hungover, not a vape in sight. There were many arrests. Not to mention fights, blackout drunken antics, urinating in cabs and beds, and just about anywhere. It was a rare night that they weren't kicked out of a club or bar, and throwing up in public was a regular occurrence. In fact, they made the phrase, puke and rally, famous. Still, there was an innocence about them, a wholesomeness. None of the cast members were bad people or mean-spirited. They meant well, they just had trouble executing. And they couldn't tolerate disrespect against themselves or each other. They acted out. They hooked up. Gus and Nilsa's train wreck off-and-on relationship was so relatable to anyone in their early 20s, the way they always wanted what they couldn't have and could never meet on the same level. It was such a familiar scene, the way they teased each other back and forth and made each other jealous. Gus and Nilsa's relationship stretched on for seasons, but they didn't end up together, of course. They were never supposed to. The Floribama cast shockingly tackled real issues. Surprisingly, for a reality show about a group of young people partying their summers away, the show didn't shy away from real issues. They talked about race, religion, anxiety, mental health, toxic relationships, abuse, trauma, and all the other things that are a part of life. Despite all the fighting, they always made up the next day and took accountability for their actions. They were an imperfect group, but they looked out for each other. Nobody ever left the bar alone. They were always carrying whoever had lost the ability to walk on their backs. The boys were the big brothers to the girls as they navigated relationships with sometimes troubled men. Courtney's relationship with ex-Logan Fairbanks, which bordered on abusive, comes to mind. Did they always act rationally? Did they glorify partying in a way that could be irresponsible? Yes, they sure did. Were they raunchy and coarse at times? Definitely. Did they always practice good hygiene? Could they spell? They could not. But the one thing they could do was make everyone feel like they belonged and were protected, and that was beautiful to watch.